Alright, I guess you would call this my adventures in square foot gardening, August 15th, 2014. First square foot garden, well underway. Hanging tomatoes ended up doing really well, and they're still giving me fruit. Cucumbers, everybody else is having a little problem with cucumbers also, from what I understand. But they should have been planted up front where the tomatoes are. Same thing with the peppers, right there. They should have been planted up here where the tomatoes are planted. Look at the tomatoes are doing so good, it's unbelievable. Really, if you look really close. Again, the tomatoes, I mean, you can't complain about what's going on with the tomatoes. You can see it. It's not even, the proof is in the pudding on this one. They just should have probably went up against this back wall over here, and the cucumbers in the front. Like I had said earlier in the last, herbs, could not do it without the herbs. Use them every single Wednesday when I turn into Chef Joe. But yeah, I use them all the time. Cherry hot peppers, husky tomatoes, not doing too bad. You may gotta remember, I've been picking this right along, but at least for the last 3 weeks. I've been picking out of here and eating almost every night. Zucchini had a second birth being in that milk crate, as you can see. We got one growing there, but we got 3 of them so far out of that basket, so I was pretty happy with that. It's gonna run out of nice weather, I think. That's gonna be the problem here. This is the experiment over here, the vertical. Remember I said I wanted to go vertical on this wall? Oh, look, the tomato plant's doing pretty well. It's doing alright. And again, I've been picking off of that. Peppers, again, not so good. Peppers just didn't seem to work. But I hear other people having the same problems. Those are my pepper plants right here. It's not too cool. I mean, you got some. And plus, it's being shaded by the tomatoes. Wrong move on my cucumbers. Every single night, 1 or 2 cucumbers. It looks like it's dead, but they're all going on the side of the stairs and right up underneath this vertical. Same mistake with the squash. I should have put the squash in the front and the lettuce in the rear. But live and learn for a square foot garden. But I will tell you this, the yield out of the squash, I'm getting a lot of squash. It's all frozen. I have it all frozen in my freezer. I do the blanch thing for 3 minutes and then dip it in cold water. Again, the hanging tomatoes, I didn't think they were going to do so good, but they are doing alright. These last two aren't. But 4 out of the 6 are doing really well, as you can see. And again, we've been taking fruit off of this one every single day. Over here, my other experiment, it is the tire potato tower. That's what they call it. We'll be dumping that next Tuesday. See what we got. This is what it looks like from this corner. And I figured I've been getting like nearly 2 pounds, 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of edible food out of this on a daily basis. So it's already starting to pay for itself. Over here is my late experiment, but it is another batch of romaine lettuce going in. The butter crunch didn't work out so good for me because it just had to harvest it for it to taste any good too quickly. I really didn't like it. This experiment right here is carrot, and it's grown by one of the ends, and I rooted it in water, and we'll be pulling that one out. It's just one single carrot. That's it. We'll see what we got. But yeah, it's vegetables grown from grocery vegetables that I got in the bag. Again, I'm just trying to give you a visual. We're not talking about a very big spot here. Okay? We're talking 2 by 4 by 4s, 16 square feet total in each, in some buckets, and I'm getting at least 1.5 pounds a day out of it. The secret is right here. That is the secret, people. 1/3 vermiculite, 1/3 peat moss, 1/3 compost. Mixed together. That's the original bed. And then every couple weeks, throw a cupful around each plant and water it really good. Compost bin. This garbage can was filled up to nearly the top, that line right there, maybe 3 weeks ago. I keep wetting it, tossing it around. There's red earthworms in there. That's what's doing the trick. That is where the compost will be coming from next year. Okay, after it comes from this compost barrel, I put it in the compost tumbler, which is over here. And this, my friends, is your compost. Sticks and all. You dry it out. It's airy. The plants do well in it. This is where my plants next year will come from, my seedlings that I'll be starting. So that's that compost setup. That's the second and third stage of this. There's a first stage that's over in the corner on the other corner of the yard. And my compost mix is pretty simple. It's 2 pots brown and 1 pot green. And I try to water it every single night and flip it like once every 3 days. Here's a low down again. Square foot garden. Planted planted June 12th, I believe, and this is August 15th, so we're not doing too bad. And like I said, getting a pound and a half of food out of here every single day, so I'm not complaining. The thing is just learning how to eat what you grow. That seems to be the key to all this. Eat what you grow and you'll be fine. There's not even any bit to give away. It's just, some is frozen. The squash has been coming, I'm going to say 4 of them a week. And so we bag it and freeze it. I use that cure, the 3 minute blanching, 3 minute in ice water, and we're good to go. Again, it's only the experimental. This is the key, people, the composters. The whole setup is excellently working. Again, I kind of did this a little screwed up because it's kind of backwards. But here's my piles of browns. This is leaves, branches that fall from these widow makers that I have in my yard. Like, as you can see, I'll bring you over here. Obviously, I cannot recycle something that is this big. This is outrageous. This, my friends, is why I call these widow makers. Right here. The whole yard is like that. Over the house. Anyway, so I get a lot of brown. That's the way I want to. And here's the brown. All the stuff falling from the trees. The leaves that I get in the fall will be going over in this corner. This is where food product goes. That's non-meat or dairy, non-dairy. No meat, no dairy. Goes in from over there, over to here, where it gets tossed with 2 pots brown, 1 pot green, which is the grass clippings for my lawn. So, and then it goes over here, and from this initial move, it goes into the garbage barrel for about 3-4 weeks. About that much fits in the garbage barrel, and it makes about 1 of those tumblers full. Take that one back, it's probably a half of this pile. It makes 1 tumbler full. So I'm on track. I need like 16 cubic feet for each one of those beds next year. Like I said, keeping this stuff wet is really a good idea because it helps the process, really the decaying process. And also, if I had a black top or really any kind of top on top of it, it would help us move this along, and I'd get it. But see, these right here are the babies, right here, that make this happen. See the red worms, the red earthworms. Watch. They're all over the place in this compost pile. It's great. That's what's doing the trick. I'm literally spraying this pile, and the red earthworms are coming right out as I'm spraying it. I know it's going to be hard to see it on the video. So what I do is then I go around and I pick some of those worms when I toss it up the next day too, and then throw them in the garden. But this is the way I'm doing it. Again, the brown and the household non-dairy, non-meat products go in that corner. And we toss it all together, wet it down, bring it over here with some leaves, then we bring it over here, and that's when we hit it with the grass clippings and the greens from the garden, and then we flip it down into this pile right here. And from the pile that I just videoed, it goes into the black garbage can, sits, I'm going to say about 4 weeks in there, comes over here, sits in this tumbler, which is in almost direct sunlight all day long. I'm hoping that I get 120 degrees in there, because that's what I really need. And then maybe about 4 more weeks in there, and you got good stuff to work with when you're done. This is black gold. This is not, you know, it's not garbage soil. It's good compost. Good grow stuff in. Obviously it is, because you see my garden. And that's all done in two 16 square foot beds.